What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Capone movie review. And boy, was this a weird one. And apologies if you liked it, because this is going to be, unfortunately, a pretty negative review about a movie which I was actually sort of excited to see. So, as always, if you're new to the channel, please drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on so you never ever miss a video. So, this is essentially a story of a senile Capone trying to live out his final days in Florida and really not accepting his obvious decline here when it comes to his decline in health, mental state, just due to his neurosyphilis, which this is a curious take on this character who is an iconic character of that century where his crimes were just unparalleled. Now, we've seen this story in The Untouchables, one of the iconic movies, and also Stephen Graham played him fantastically in Boardwalk Empire, and I'm undecided, I still am undecided personally, if this was a waste of a biopic or a welcome change showing a different part of the iconic gangster's life that would likely never have actually been seen. Now, obviously, like I said, Al Capone started to go senile due to his neurosyphilis, but his performance, or at least Tom Hardy's performance here, borders on the comical and at times is so over the top. I wonder where actually was the direction for Tom Hardy, who is prone to going ridiculously over the top, and is part of the reason why I could not stop laughing when I watched the first Venom movie. I was in bits. It was just that bad. The acting was just ridiculous. There's a particular section of this movie where this can be seen where the action almost turns to slapstick as Linda Cardellini's character slaps him and he falls down. It is just ridiculous, and in this movie, in my opinion, but the performance by Matt Dillon made me realise how underused he is in Hollywood, and I implore everyone to go out and watch the movie Crash. Now, as we see Capone's last few days, he's incontinent and is given an adult nappy, or diapers for you in America, by his Dr. Kyle MacLachlan, and the portrayal of these mental health and disabilities straddles the offensive but authentic and raw barrier. Yes, some of them just feel like an absolute parody of these real problems that people face later in life and due to illnesses, but it also straddles that part where it is actually raw, true to it. But unfortunately, there is little in the way of acting from our friend Tom Hardy, which is an absolute shame, because when he's good, and most of the time he's unfortunately pretty bad. These showings of dementia and brain disease properly shine, but there is a shame as they are juxtaposed by moments of ridiculous acting. There are moments when he does it really well, but they are probably just one or two times in the whole movie. Now, constantly in the background is the looming threat of alligators, the police, and moles within his own organisation, which are literally just hinted at. Creepy overtones of horror tinge the production and make us question, is this paranoia founded, or is it all in his head, as his familiars and his hangers-on are all equal part concerned and just frustrated and sickened by the state their boss is actually in. We have him be cared for by Kyle MacLachlan's doctor character, like I said, but we later see him break the news of a stroke to his actual mafioso family, and I can't but think that this whole story of them trying to take over his empire and how he's dealing and how they're dealing with his actual whole situation doesn't actually, that would have been better. It would have gone somewhere, but this scene just feels superfluous because I'm not quite sure why the team actually made Hardy look like he is in his late 90s. He looks like he's about to keel over, and he's in one of those photos where we see someone who is 100 getting a letter from the Queen, but around this time he's actually 48. But by the end, he has a full Emperor Palpatine look, and to be honest, he looked completely farcical. But the production itself is stellar, with shots, the set design and sweeping visuals. At times, they completely astound, and the film looks gorgeous. I do wonder what a sweeping crime epic would actually have looked like, depicted and created by Josh Trank here, but the content, main character and story just feel pointless as the movie actually goes on. It looks like I'm just watching a movie of just bits and pieces, and that's it. Maybe the moments of Capone defecating have to be there to make the scene of Capone flashing back to a New Year's Eve party all that more special. This is pretty much the middle of the movie, and where it completely goes off the rails. Now, after the New Year's party, the movie goes into complete freefall, and Tom Hardy is essentially seemingly like a zombie, and one of the most ridiculous scenes of all of cinema, with Hardy's Capone wearing an adult diaper, shooting a golden Tommy gun at his crew. I'm not sure what the dream sequence was for, but it turns the movie into a farce and ends on a sequence of him almost being eaten by a gator and then waking up. As the film rolls on to its ending, and I still find it weird that, well, the best acting is done when he actually shits himself when being interviewed by a government agent, and that scene of him actually being intercepted feels completely pointless. None of this. Now, the ending is interesting as it is truly the only plot point that actually went anywhere, but that sort of makes sense as there were mentions of family being the true legacy is paid off with his illegitimate child, whose mother we saw earlier in the movie killed as she was sitting on top of Capone himself, and he is later introduced to his alien father, and the movie closes so he can die truly happy there. One can surmise that he tried to shoot everyone because he never really trusted or loved anyone, and he's fighting his inner demons to actually get his son and accept to have his son sitting there with him, which is what he wanted because he kept contact with him. Now, in real life, was there an illegitimate son? There is a guy who is claiming this, but it's never actually kind of confirmed or revealed or anything like that. So it's pretty much just not completely true to history, except for the fact he was living out his last days there in Florida. And, well, I think that Tom Hardy needs to kind of have a bit of a normal role. Yes, that might be boring for him because his portrayal of this is really bad. And the man in the wheelchair in Breaking Bad, for example, plays it so much better with his face movements and everything like that. But here, Tom Hardy is just making noises and shitting himself. That is basically the movie, unfortunately. It's pretty average and it's a solid 2 out of 5 stars for me here. And to be honest, it's a serious wait for Netflix and not a view on demand whatsoever. The 2 stars pretty much come from the film is gorgeous. It looks absolutely stunning, and also Matt Dillon's performance with Linda Cardellini. But it looks like Josh Trank has tanked once again, and I do feel for the dude because he is actually a decent director, but I just hope he gets something better to work with next time. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.